He stands as still as the framed family portraits lining the marble foyer, palms sweating through a designer shirt that feels like a trap. Paramedics slide Ellen onto the gurney, her silver hair limp against the starched linens. Billionaire, yes. Son, always. And yet, his wealth means nothing. No doctor in California, Boston, Houston can promise a tomorrow. The bill in his hand would cover anyone else's suffering, but his own mother is slipping away and so are all the answers. Suddenly, memory bites. Years ago, in faded sunlight, Ellen twirled through the old kitchen on Robert's father's arms, a flash of warmth, a kiss so simple it made her smile for hours. That kind of love makes a man fight harder, it's the reason Robert can't let go. But now, heartbreak fills up the room, chasing out hope with every quiet beep from the medical monitor. His mind races. If money can't save her, what will? He leans against the tall glass window, watching streetlights blur into rivers of yellow. Has anyone else ever faced the helplessness that grips him, wondering if all their effort means nothing? Drop your own stories below, if this feeling lives in your chest. Thumping footsteps break the silence. A box lands at the front door. Robert's world has been flipped upside down, and with one hesitant step, he opens the door, the impossible stands before him. Hours earlier, Peter hugs two large packages against his chest, huffing as he shuffles past security at the Langdon estate. The yard smells like cut grass and money, shoes sinking into luxury turf while the main gate yawns. Wearing an unwashed hoodie, Peter keeps one eye on the fountain, the other on the mansion windows. He wishes, just once, to slip past all these gates and enter a world where every need is answered. He hurries to the entry, heart pounding faster. Rebecca, the housekeeper, crosses the marble hall, her dress moving in a ripple of laughter that Peter tries to catch. For a moment, their eyes meet. It warms him against all odds, her grin making him believe the mansion holds secrets more human than wealth. She disappears, leaving only the scent of expensive perfume and white lilies. Robert answers the door, suspicion sharp in every glance. "What's in the package?" he asks. Peter stammers, lifts the box, and admits it's a delivery for the kitchen, herbal roots, teas, and something else wrapped up in paper, sent from an unknown address in Mississippi. Herbs. The billionaire's tone hardens. This isn't medicine. Peter stands his ground. It helped my grandmother, maybe it's worth a try. Rebecca reappears, her voice low, sometimes old wisdom works when new fails. The moment hangs heavy, tension between rooms and ranks. As Peter tries to set the box down, his phone slips out, knocking the bundle sideways. A pill bottle rolls across the tile and herbs scatter, their earthy scent rising. A hush falls. Rebecca steps forward, eyes locked on a root she remembers from childhood. Peter blushes. Is this about to be the moment where the outsider changes everything? If you've ever felt out of place, but dared to speak up, share below. Right now, Peter is about to do the unthinkable, and no one here expects what might come next. The days bleed together. Peter's grandmother's plant gets added to Ellen's morning routine, not by doctor's orders, but through desperate insistence. Robert watches each dose with hope too fragile to name. Rain streaks down the hospital's windows, washing silence through the room. Ellen breathes easier for the first time in weeks. Monitors blink and Robert tries not to believe in miracles. Rebecca catches Peter in the kitchen, their hands inches apart as she rinses a mug. Her lips hover over a whisper, "Thank you." Peter's heart jumps. The connection is more than nerves, more than gratitude, it curls in his belly and makes Rebecca linger. Hope is risky in a place this sterile. The doctors whisper outside, angry and defensive. Who let this kid near the patient? One waves a chart, another dismisses the herbal lotion as nonsense. Robert stands back, torn between the men in suits and the one person who cared enough to try something new. Pride doesn't survive when family is at stake. Peter sits on a metal bench in the hallway, earbuds in, an old folk song from Mississippi rolling through. The beat is slow, the lyrics hopeful, songs his grandmother used to hum on sticky nights under a slow fan. Here, among the hum of expensive machines, it is his only safe place. Tension spikes. Two doctors threaten to call in hospital admin, accusing Peter of faking results. A nurse, silent, worn, takes Peter aside. "My aunt survived cancer with something like this," she whispers. They never believed her story. She squeezes Peter's hand, words sharp as needles. "Are experts always right? Have you ever found truth where no authority cared to look?" Ellen wakes, her voice weak. Robert and Rebecca sit beside her, relief touching the backs of their hands. Still, nothing is certain yet. And when the chapter closes, we're left with more questions. Is Ellen healed? Or is this just a pause in the storm? Spotlights bounce off polished silver and nervous faces. Robert's annual charity gala is seething with questions. Reporters stalk the buffet, voices low. Headlines flash across phones, miracle or manufactured. No one knows what to believe. Peter stands by the entry, sleeves pressed tight against his arms. Jenna, Ellen's nurse, slides up beside him, her eyes sharp and curious. They talk for minutes, exchanging glances too bold for public. She tucks her hair behind an ear and Peter feels heat in his stomach, a forbidden thrill in a room full of scrutiny. Rebecca approaches, whispering urgent news. Doctors are speaking with journalists, words charged like static. Suddenly, one of the hospital's top names climbs the stage. Evidence suggests manipulation. "We can't verify what's healing Ellen." There's a ripple through the crowd, people staring hard at Peter, his face flushing under the lights. Rebecca finds Peter, her hand shaking as she grips his arm. "This shouldn't happen to you." Suspicion clouds the air. Peter, for the first time, meets her eyes, questions flooding between them that only a secret conversation can answer. The stakes climb higher, reputation, careers, Ellen's very life hang from the word of a delivery boy and a handful of herbs. If public trust collapses now, what hope is there for another chance? One guest, calm and powerful, stands and raises a glass. "You're all missing something important." The entire room falls silent, waiting for the real story to start. Who do you trust, wealth, authority, or the voice that risks everything when no one's watching? The city floats outside Robert's penthouse, millions of lives blinking in the dark, but inside everything feels smaller. Peter sits across from Robert, their conversation a charged thread, gratitude and accusation all tangled together. "She's alive," Robert says, trying to convince himself as much as Peter. "But can I trust you?" Peter swallows hard, words sticking. "I wanted to help. That's all." The air is stiff, each heartbeat feels like a countdown. Rebecca arrives after midnight. She's tired, hair loose, carrying a glass of wine that catches the moonlight. She lets her shoes drop, settles next to Peter, her shoulder brushing his. "No one's sure, Peter. Not even him." Robert glances over, the son, the billionaire, the desperate human whose entire soul is knotted up around family and faith. Rebecca shifts closer, hand resting on Peter's knee. Her vulnerability cuts through the tension, desire blooming in the space between confession and comfort. For a moment, Peter wonders if fixing someone's life might mean touching something deeper, where pain and longing mix. Robert sighs, voice almost breaking. "I don't know who to trust anymore." Silence stretches. Outside, the city is still buzzing. Have you ever risked everything for someone, only to question it all? If so, write about it below, your story matters here. A phone vibrates. Robert grabs it, face draining as he reads the message, Ellen's vitals crashing. The room spins. Stakes have never been higher, the next move means life or loss. Rebecca stands, her hand trailing along Peter's shoulder as she leaves. The screen fades to black, leaving behind only questions and the sharp memory of danger and desire, at the edge of survival, when everything is at risk. Peter barely hears the rain as his phone lights up in the dark. Jenna's message is urgent, she needs him back at the hospital now. Stepping out into the alley, wind howling past broken pavement, he breathes in cold air that smells of wet asphalt and city grit. His heart taps out a frantic rhythm as he hurries through the front doors. TV plays low in the neighbor's window, but Peter's focus is razor-sharp for once. Inside, the staff room is nearly empty. Jenna sits waiting. She brushes a tired hand through her hair and inches her chair closer, her knee grazing Peter's. "I'm scared," she whispers, her voice thin but steady. "I trust you more than some of the doctors." Her palm rests on his, fingers curling just enough to send a jolt to his chest. The feelings simmer beneath her worry, a soft kind of longing, pressed flat by exhaustion but obvious now in this private, late-hour meeting. Alarms shatter the moment. The hospital shudders with energy as Ellen's pulse slows, monitors beeping all through the floor. Doctors gather in chaos. Some want more tests, others demand invasive action. For the first time, Robert finds courage in his fear. "Peter, what would your grandmother have done?" Peter closes his eyes, remembering gnarled hands and warm Mississippi kitchens. "Just a little more of the root. Just one time." Jenna nods, she believes. He mixes the dose himself, hands cold but sure. Around them, doctors argue and snap orders. Tension builds. Viewers, if you've ever seen trained professionals fight over what matters most, drop a comment below. There's nothing like the panic of a room split between hope and doubt. Ellen's vitals settle. She breathes out steady, color returning to her lips. Peter's hand is still shaking when a new physician steps in, eyes cold, papers in hand. "We need to talk, Mr. Langdon." Curious storms grow louder, the next chapter no less dangerous than the last. First light splits the sky over Palo Alto, easing soft fog into the city's edges. On the balcony, untouched coffee grows lukewarm in Robert's grasp. His phone vibrates, news feeds crowded with his surname, Langdon, tied to rumors, scandal, hope, and doubt. Rebecca finds him alone, her robe trailing over bare ankles. She sits beside him, their knees brushing. Her hand moves gently, tracing circles into the veins at his wrist, slow and tender. He wants to pull away, but finds comfort there, between her warmth and the worry she shares with no one else. He lets the air out in a single rush. Is trusting a stranger a failure, or faith? Rebecca shrugs. Sometimes help comes from places you never expect. Sometimes, the right choice costs you everything. Her lips twist in a half-smile. Shadows move beneath her eyes. A ring at the door signals the arrival of an envelope stamped with firm legal letters. Robert stares at it, jaw tight. The hospital claims Peter has practiced without any license, blames Robert for letting him near the patient. The words cut deep, and suddenly nothing is safe, not his mother, not his money, not his name. If you'd ever risked your entire reputation for someone who only had a story, not a degree, what did you decide? Tell your own story below. Right now, Robert wishes for clarity more than riches. The hospital is swarmed outside, reporters calling, cameras flashing. Peter slips away unseen, swallowed by the crowd. Only one stops him, a journalist whose badge lists her as familiar, a surname matching the nurse's once listed on Ellen's chart. A new threat, or an unexpected ally? The path forward twists again. Peter sits on a wooden bench by the hospital garden, knees bouncing, fists clenching the stubborn root between his palms. Childhood floats up, the sticky heat of a southern farm, his grandmother's echoing voice, her basket stuffed with plants no pharmacy would touch. They bruised roots in a chipped bowl, boiled tea for boils and burns. He breathes in, the earthy bite almost enough to carry him home. Back in the present, Peter crushes a sprig, letting the strong scent ground him. Far from comfort, far from anyone who trusts easy remedies. His phone buzzes, a message from Tara, his oldest friend in Mississippi. Her words are brief, sweet, with a photo attached. She's standing next to their old porch, sunlight slicing over her smile, shirt hitched up enough to remind him of simpler hunger, days when longing carried less fear. Inside, the doctors close ranks. "We're scientists, not fortune tellers," one whispers to another, and Peter hears each word under his breath. Jenna passes him in the hallway, slips him a snack, gives him a nod. "Some things work, even if not everyone knows why," she says quietly. Tara's arrival is sudden. Her hair is wild from travel, voice a welcome storm. She hugs Peter tight, her lips are warm against his cheek, bringing new reasons to want and belong. Still, her eyes catch on every passing nurse, every hint of jealousy threaded through the hospital's thin halls. Inside Ellen's room, Tara sits with Robert as he talks to his mother. Ellen opens her eyes for the first time in days, her hand squeezing Robert's with more strength than anyone expected. "Don't let them stop you, son," she whispers, voice just for him, but Tara is listening, and secrets do not stay quiet in this story. The mansion is crowded. Last night's guests have become today's trouble, voices louder now, laughter gone flat. Reporters gather on the front lawn, cameras up even before coffee is poured. Robert slips into the kitchen, his suit jacket wrinkled, searching for comfort in a place that feels far from home. Rebecca stands at the sink, scrubbing dishes clean, her hands shaking as she works soap into Peter's bruised knuckles. He lowers his gaze, exhausted, shameful pleasure in how her touch lingers just a second too long. Neither speaks, there's no need. Everything important is in their silence. Jenna drags Peter onto the back balcony. "I'm tired of hiding," she breathes, leaning into him, breath hot against his jaw, hand darting up his shirt. Her morals flicker, and for a quick moment, the whole world drops away. Everything feels both right and dangerous in that quiet gap, where responsibility is out of reach. Inside, the news is everywhere. Another patient, someone unknown, claims recovery from a similar southern cure. What if Ellen's miracle is not as rare as everyone thought? What if this all could be repeated, or worse, faked? Doubt gnaws at all the trust Peter hoped he'd earned. Rebecca heads out to intercept Tara in the hallway, hurt in her eyes, posture sharp and ready for battle or seduction. The two pause, words building between them, some meant for war, some for something neither dares speak in full. The house is restless. Media vans cluster at the curb, their cords snaking past hedges and steps. Inside, curtains are drawn tight, protection or secrecy, it's anyone's guess. Robert sits with legal pads and angry doctors, his will alone holding the investigation to the line. He fears exile from the people he used to count as allies, but he won't stop. Not now. Tara finds Peter in Ellen's room, curtain drawn between the lamp and the world. Her fingers run along his jaw, then down his neck. "You're braver than they think," she says, lips brushing his cheek, her body whispering an invitation only the heart can hear. The promise flickers, but is quickly stilled when Robert barges in, face set in stone. Ellen calls Peter close as the room clears. "My sickness didn't start this year," she tells him, eyes wet with memory. "It's old, older than you know. Only those who lived our kind of life remember what's needed to fight it." Her words redraw every detail he's learned. Tara stands silent now, holding an envelope that she found on the edge of Ellen's pillow. As she opens it, her fingers tremble. Inside is a document, pages worn, names spelled out in careful print. Details match things only the Langdons could know. Something about her is connected far deeper than she's ever admitted. "Who holds the truth, really?" the narrator asks. "Doctors, strangers, friends, where do you put your trust? Tell us in the comments if you've ever taken a stand for something no expert could see." Ellen's nurse arrives, her hand pressed firm against Peter's back. She slips him a piece of paper, face serious. "You don't know what you're in for," she whispers. He looks at Tara, then Rebecca, then the city through the thin glass. By morning, trust and truth will never be the same. Thunder shakes the glass as Robert gathers everyone in his study, the lamplight reflecting off shelf after shelf of old books. Rebecca stands by Peter's side, slipping her fingers into his beneath the table, the kind of bold comfort he never knew he could want. Across from them, Tara paces, rain catching in her hair from the run inside. Eyes dart and accusations go unsaid. Robert spreads paperwork across the table, his jaw tight, suspicion leaking into his voice as he asks who has hidden what. Tara breaks the tension, her voice cutting through as she lays down receipts and old texts she's kept hidden until now, records that shift blame away from Peter, landing it on those who doubted out of pride, not proof. Cigarette smoke coils above the table. Hearts race just as fast. Rebecca's thumb draws a line along Peter's palm, warming his skin, both of them feeling more exposed in this storm of lies and tired hearts than in any moment spent alone. Suddenly Ellen gasps from the couch, her eyes rolling back. In the scramble, only Peter and Tara move fast enough. Two hands, one born from southern fields, one from desperate love, lift her as the chapter shuts, the promise of loss lighting nerves on fire. The hallway outside Ellen's room feels tighter, hotter. Every breath in the hospital is loaded with urgency now. Peter and Tara work side by side, Tara's arm brushing his as Ellen slips closer to danger. There's no time for careful dialogue, old jealousies fade as the will to save Ellen takes over. Peter grinds the root with trembling hands, mind racing to instructions told to him long before he knew words for science. Tara covers Ellen's forehead with a cool towel, lips pressed to her ear with soothing words. Close, almost kissing, Peter and Tara focus their remaining hope in the medicine they know and the heartbeat they're desperate to restore. The sound of the monitor is broken by hurried footsteps. The hospital director barges in, his voice too loud for hope-filled moments. He shouts about lawsuits, about unauthorized actions and press waiting outside, but Robert shouts back, choosing risk over regret. Under all the yelling, Ellen's heartbeat comes back, slow at first, then strong enough to carry her name. Have you ever stood firm when the rest of the world was louder but less right? Ever risked blame to reach for a miracle? Tell us below, your courage belongs here. As Ellen breathes easy, Peter's phone buzzes. The message reads, "Proof is ready. The hospital's secret is coming out." Not all victories happen in hospital beds, some are born in the chaos beyond. The lobby fills fast. Newshounds wave mics and cameras, searching for the next best quote. Two top doctors turn red in the face when investigators produce receipts, files, and text messages showing bribes and erased data. The same men who mocked Peter now stand as the real frauds in a city built on image. Jenna finds Peter near the elevators, cheeks flushed, hair wild. The moment is private in a way nothing has been before. She presses him against the wall, lips urgent against his, worry, relief, all rolled into one sweet, dangerous promise. She pulls away, whispering, "You deserve more than thank you." Inside, Ellen hugs her son with all the strength her new life allows. No words, just shaking shoulders and grateful tears. She takes Peter and Tara beside her and, in front of every reporter willing to listen, forgives the mistakes and the pride that nearly cost her everything. Ellen waves Peter forward. "I want you to hear this first. Whatever comes next isn't about science, but about heart." A new dawn sits on the Oakland skyline, smog glowing orange, people busy on corners, signs for the new center hanging beside old ones for laundromats and corner shops. Peter and Robert cut the ribbon on the health nonprofit, laughter rolling through the crowd. Peter never thought his hands, the same ones that scrubbed rental kitchens, would ever do something so public. Rebecca squeezes past the volunteers and catches Peter under a banner, her thumb slides across his mouth, a question unspoken. Inside, chatter boils. Applications stack up fast, and a rival hospital's lawyer stands at the door, threatening a lawsuit that could shut it all down. But behind the worry, you sense a kind of rising, neighbors, friends, nurses all vowing they won't let one more good thing die quietly. If you've ever watched a group build hope from odds stacked a mile high, join the comments below. Ellen steps into the light, ready to tell her side to reporters. The entire neighborhood, and maybe the whole city, is waiting. There is one more summer night in Palo Alto. Music lines up along the grass and the Langdon mansion glows with new laughter, Robert sitting alone for a breath. Ellen comes through the open door, strong and sure on her feet, carrying memories and a quiet smile. Wind moves magnolia leaves in arcs across the lawn, and out by the garden, Peter stands with Tara and Rebecca. Their hands are joined, the pull between them gentler now, the questions softer. Two women, one who taught him desire leads to courage, one who taught him love isn't always patient, linger at his side. The ache is sweet, less desperate, more a gift than a wound. Reporters call Ellen to a small podium. She speaks of small miracles, lost faith found again, and how belief can live in the hands of those the world calls ordinary. She does not speak out of science, but out of lived experience. After, Peter hugs Tara. "I'm going home," he says, eyes bright with new hope. "With you." Tara grins, the southern night suddenly closer than before. Rebecca touches Peter's arm, nodding. Across the yard, Robert offers Rebecca a glass, promise shining in his eyes. The world doesn't always believe in heroes with dirt on their hands. But sometimes, that's where the best stories come from. Who do you trust? The ones with the most degrees, or the ones with the hardest struggle? As dusk softens the yard and the doors swing shut, one small connection remains, reminding us that sometimes, the impossible happens not through knowledge, but through love, stubborn as summer.